Alright, you're back here with Paul on the party channel. We got disco music in the background. By the way, this music in the background means that I could never use this video commercially because I'd have to get permission from all those people. So this is just between you and me. Okay? Alright, so anyway, how about taking in another sound? Maybe a beat. Let me go back to the beats. Almost all these are separated by beats and other parts, but it doesn't really have to be that way. Sometimes they're separated by things that sound like they're on the same key as with the orchestral stuff, but we'll get to that in a little while. So how about this? Okay, a couple crazy beats I'm going to select right here. Everyone likes beat 37. Beat 33 is not as popular. Beat 28, no way. Beat 18, you can come. You're in the club. Okay, so anyway, here's the deal. I got a beat. And I'm going to check it out. By the way, you can play the beat right here. Just in case you forgot what you had. Okay, anyway, I'm going to drop it in. Maybe I'll drop in another thing over here. Wait, actually, before I do that, let's do this. I got this beat like this, and I kind of like it, but maybe I want it to change after a little while. So maybe I'll make a copy of it. How about this? I'll make a copy with my Move Copy tool. Make a copy, I'll set it right next to it. But because I'm making a unique copy, it's going to be something that I can change without affecting the other one. So I'll copy unique copy. Then I got a copy of beat 18. See, this beat 18, 1 and 2 right there. So here's the deal. I want to remember this is different, so I might even just change the color. Now I really know this is different because it's a great color. Pink, salmon, whatever that is. But now I know it's different, so let's check this out. I could make that beat sound a whole lot different by just double clicking it, going to the edit view, and there's the loop, by the way. And I could just say, hey, on this beat over here, let's do something kind of crazy. What that something crazy is, maybe the phaser is crazy enough. I don't know. Let's find out. That is très wacky, as they say in France. Okay, so that is remarkably different. And so when I go back to the multi-track, it already knows that changed, and so I can kind of get more sounds out of just my loops. But be careful to name it something else, because if you do that in the edit view, you change it, and it's still beat 18, it will resave it as that, and then your original sound of beat 18 is lost forever. So I would say anytime you're going to do a change, make it something new, give it a new name, make it a copy, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so anyway, so check this out. Now I got a little change. And then I can bring my original beat 18 back there with the Move Copy tool if I want to. Right click it. I just want to reference this time. I don't need another copy of it, and then we'll see. And then you can see how it changed. So that's a way to get some mileage out of your beats, but that's not the only way to change it. Matter of fact, let me just get rid of that thing. And let me just get rid of that thing. I could do an effect like this, you know. I could say, hey, let me stretch this out, have this beat continue for a little while, and then I'll hit my effects button right here, hit my effects button, and then I got these effect slots. If you don't see those effect slots, that means you're not zoomed in enough. I'm rolling on that little wheel, scrolling in and out. You could just grab the ends too. Either way, it works. But see, I got way more effect slot. They're hidden if you're on the inputs, outputs. So you got to go to the effects, and then throw an effect on there. So maybe I'll throw that same little phaser in there. And I'll pick that red pill, blue pill preset, because we remember the way that sounded, right? So let's hear it. That is the way it sounded, right? Now check this out. Something new. Something brand new. You see this little thing right here? You got to get all the way down to show and hide the automation. You can kind of sweep things in 3D. And what I'm saying by that is this. As long as you're on the effects button right here, and you have some kind of effect chosen right here, and then you have this little button here, you can turn this button right here, and you can affect all sorts of things. You have another place to control the volume, but we already do that there, or we do that up here. So what we want to do, go over here and say, hey, what looks good here? Okay, I can affect every single one of those parameters of that little phaser I put on. I can make that thing go crazy. So if I wanted to, I could say, all right, just give me a line for the way that the resonance is going. And that'll make something sound a little crazy. I can add another one, just hit the plus button. And then I could say, alright, well, you did something to the resonance. I want you to do something to maybe the modulation or maybe the center frequency. How about that? and then you can make that thing go crazy any way that you want. What does it sound like? Only one way to find out, bub. That's to get right to it. Okay, so let's pull this back and hear it. By the way, that disco music's getting crazy in the background. I'm about to turn down those ladies. Okay, so do you like that? Do you not like that? I don't know. If you don't like it, just get rid of that thing. How do you get rid of that thing? It's a good question. Just go over here and there's a little erase button. There it goes. I'm sorry. There it is. Just erase it. Get rid of it. It's gone. And then you can just close that up. It's gone. But you know what? There's something else you can do too, which is the wet dry mix. All you got to do is go to insert effects, because these are called insert effects when you put them on here. And then just go to the wet dry mix. The wet dry mix controls how much effect there is and how much dry sound there is. So you'll see that I'll go to a point where there's no effect, then there's a lot of effect, then there's no effect at all, none, mucho, nada, and then I'll kind of slowly sweep in the effect. So you get something totally different than you would have if you just went to the edit view and put on the effect. It's off, it's on. It's off, but it's coming on. Then we'll have it come back down. So if I go back to the effects rack over here, you can see actually what I'm doing. At the very bottom of the effects rack, there's this thing called the wet dry mix right there. That's just modifying that. So no matter how many effects you have on there, it's just going to sweep in and sweep out the sum total of all those effects on or off. I'll do something crazy or not so crazy like a reverb. And that's a pretty heavy reverb. Let me get rid of that one. By the way, that little message that popped up, it said, hey, you're using a heavy reverb. You sure you want to use it? And I'm not sure I do, so I'll just use the light reverb instead. Okay. And then how about some kind of delay? I'll just, whatever, I'll use, how about this spatial echo? Okay, so now all three of those effects will be off, on, and then slowly coming on and off. Off, on, off, and coming on. All of them together. So of course, the more stuff you do, the more the computer is going to bog down eventually. But if that happens, remember you have your good old freeze button. The freeze button, let me save the title of what I'm working on, Paul. The freeze button will render a temporary wave file with all those effects on there, and then it'll bypass those effects. It'll turn those off, use that little wave file that it went rendered in the background. You can see it's frozen, it's blue, brr, it's cold, and then it uses that and it doesn't drag the CPU down. Of course, if you want to make any changes to it, you got to unfreeze it like that, like you're the sun on Antarctica. Never mind. Next lesson.